Hi, this is Mato. It is a beautiful morning here in Adelaide. Probably you can hear birds singing outside. In this video, I will show you the game between Hiarcs and Shredder. Game was played in World Chess Software Championship in 2011 in Netherlands. Time control is 50 minutes on the clock each. Hiarcs had white pieces and game started with e4. Shredder played c5, Sicilian defense. Knight to f3, e6, d4, pawn takes pawn, knight takes on d4, a6. This is Khan variation of Sicilian defense. Bishop to d3, knight to f6, Hiarcs castled kingside, queen to c7, queen to e2, making room for rook to come to d1, d6. Another way to continue is bishop to c5, attacking knight, and then white would play knight to b3. But Shredder played d6, c4, making it difficult for black to play d5, g6, knight to c3, bishop to g7, rook to d1, Shredder castled kingside, knight to f3, knight to c6, h3, preventing knight from coming to g4 because Hiarcs wants to play bishop to e3. Knight to d7, bishop to e3. See, knight moved from f6 to d7, so bishop can take knight on c3. Shredder captured the knight, doubling the pawns. Most humans, they like the dark square bishop and will play some different move. Perhaps this is another way to continue. Pawn takes bishop. That move is okay if you don't mind to have dark square weaknesses around your king. f6, rook from a to b1, knight to c5, bishop takes knight, pawn takes bishop. White has a bad bishop. e5, creating more room for bishop, but f5, h4. What is the purpose of this move? Well, knight is going to be played to g5, and it will be kicked back, and then g5 would not be possible because of pawn takes pawn. Knight to d8, knight to g5, kicking the knight away but compromising king's safety. Knight to h3, and the knight is looking for a new home on f4. Knight to f7, attacking the pawn on e5. Rook to e1, defending. King to h7, knight to f4, queen to a5, attacking the pawn on c3. How should white defend the pawn? What would you play? This is a very interesting continuation from Hiarcs. Hiarcs played g4, attacking black king. This looks very risky, doesn't it? Now rook to g8. Very logical move. What's wrong with taking pawn on c3? If queen takes on c3, this is possible continuation. Then h5, and after pawn takes pawn on f5, and after pawn takes pawn on f5, e6, and white is better. So in the game, Rook to g8 was played, lining rook with white king. Now most humans would feel uncomfortable and would play something like king to f1. They would take care of their king somehow. But Hiarcs played h5. That is interesting, isn't it? But that move is possible because bishop is on the same diagonal with black king. Pawn takes pawn. Knight takes on h5. Pawn takes pawn is not possible because of the pin. So king to h8, unpinning. Knight to f6, attacking rook. Rook to g6, f4, and now queen takes pawn on c3. Queen to e3, attacking the pawn on c5. Queen to a3, defending the pawn and attacking the pawn on a2. And now this is interesting. Hiarcs is not defending the pawn. Rook to b3, sacrificing the pawn. But Schroeder didn't accept the sacrifice. Queen to a5 was played. What's wrong with taking that pawn? Because then queen is attacking rook. Let's check this variation. If queen takes on a2, Hiarcs prepared a trap. Rook sacrifice. Of course, this is not a good move. If queen takes rook, then queen to f8 check, and after rook to g8, queen takes rook, check, mate. Very clever play by Hiarcs. So queen to a5, defending the pawn. Rook to e2, rook to g7. Now, let's have a good look at this position. Who is better developed, white or black? White is better developed. White is using all his pieces. And have a look. Light square bishop is not participating in the game. Neither is rook on a8. That's interesting, isn't it? Hiarcs played king to f1, unpinning, making it possible for pawn takes pawn on f5. And now, queen to d8. 3 of black pieces are on the starting position. That is interesting. What's wrong with taking that pawn on g4? If pawn takes pawn on g4, then knight to h5 attacking the rook. Problem. If black plays a logical move saving the rook, say rook to g8, then queen to e4 and threat is check, mate. Queen takes pawn on c5 and the bishop to d7. Finally, at move 32, the light square bishop is developed. At the cost of a pawn, rook takes on b7, rook to c8 attacking the queen, queen to b6, Hiarcs wants to exchange queens, bishop to c6. What happens if queen takes queen? If queen takes queen, rook takes queen attacking the pawn on a6, and after logical continuation, rook takes rook, bishop takes rook, and rook to b2, causing problems to black. Rook may be coming to b8 or to b6. So we have bishop to c6 attacking rook, queen takes queen, knight takes queen, rook takes rook, king takes rook, pawn takes pawn, and Schroeder didn't capture pawn on f5. Why not? If pawn takes pawn, then bishop takes pawn, and white has two connected passed pawns. So rook to b8 was played, placing rook on open file with the aim to maybe come to b1. But now rook to d2, discouraging that move, because rook on d2 is now eyeing the knight on d8. King to f7, bishop to c2, pawn takes pawn, and now Hiarcs didn't capture pawn on f5. Rook to d6. If knight moves, rook takes bishop. If rook moves off the 8th rank, then rook takes knight. King to e7, defending the knight. Now this is very interesting part. Knight to g8, check. King to f8. Shredder made a move and resigned the game. Unbelievable. Possible continuation is knight takes on h6, and very soon white would win pawn on f5, so white is going to be 3 pawns up. That is why Shredder resigned. This is a very interesting game. What I didn't like about Shredder's play is that Shredder was waiting for so long to develop light square bishop. Light square bishop was developed at move 32, and that is probably the reason that Shredder lost the game. Shredder didn't use all his pieces. What do you think of this game? And that is all. I hope that you enjoyed watching this video. I wish you good luck with your chess, and bye for now.